Welcome to Classy by Mavi. I am Mavis. Kindly watch this video to the end and learn how I made this beautiful reversible Ankara sun hat. Here I have folded my pattern paper into 4. Okay, can you see? I folded it into 2 first, then I folded it over again. Now it's into 4. And then I'll mark out the diameter of the circle. So I'm just marking out 9 inches. This determines how wide you want your art to be. If you want it wider, you can mark as much as even 12 inches, okay? But for me, this 9 inches diameter is okay for me. So I'm taking it all around. Can you see I'm placing the tape? So from the edge, from this angle, I'll just place the tape and be marking 9 inches, okay? So all around, I'm just marking so that at every point, I'll get the same 9 inches, okay? Now I'm here, I've marked. So I'll now connect these points together like this. I'm also done connecting the points. So after connecting the points this way, I'll simply cut out, okay? So I'm cutting out now. Next, I'll simply mark out my radius. The radius is 3. This 3 was gotten by dividing my head circumference by 2 pi, okay, which pi is a mathematical constant, which is 3.14. 2 pi is 6.28. So my head circumference is 21 inches. Now 21 inches divided by 6.28 gives me 3. So I'm marking this 3 all around, okay? So after marking this out, I'll cut it out. So on your head, you need to measure around so that you know your head circumference before you now divide it by 2 pi to get the measurements here. I just inserted. So I've cut this out. This will be useful for the upper parts of our hat. So I'll keep it aside. Let's open up our circle now. So this is automatically the brim of our hat, okay? So we'll now go over and drafting out our band, okay? Now for the band, I'm using 10.5 inches. That is half of my head circumference, okay? So after marking 10.5 inches, I've gone ahead to mark 4 inches. So the width is 4 inches and the length is 10.5 inches. I'm simply creating a square there at that point, okay, after marking the width and the length. Now we have our square. So on this part, I'm simply marking 1.5 inches and then I will join it to the upper parts like this, okay? Just watch well. This part is very important to adjust your band and allow it to sit properly. In the same way, I'm marking 1.5 inches on this other side and then I'll link back to just like this, okay? Can you see? We have simply adjusted the band, okay? So next, we will now go up by 1 inch from this side like this. Can you see? And we would link it back to meet with the starting point this way. So we have successfully adjusted our band. This part will be on fold, okay? Can you see? Is this part that will be on fold? So now that we know the part that will be on fold, we can now cut out. And now we simply have all our parts ready and we have also transferred to fabric. As you can see, this part is on fold, okay? On every other part, I've added half an inch allowance all around except for the parts on fold, okay? Which I place exactly the same way. And also watch here, I am using 2 different fabrics, so the art will be reversible, okay? I might decide to use any part of the art, both the inside and the outside. So I'm using 2 different types of Ankara fabric on this project. So this is the part that will be on top of our hat. Can you see? So in it, I also added half an inch all around the pattern. Then here we are. I also added half an inch all around this pattern and also on the inside. Can you see? So this is for the brim. Okay, so it's time to remove all our pattern papers and start sewing. And here I've also separated the parts according to their fabrics, and I'll go ahead and attach feasible interfacing to one. As you can see here, I've already attached the feasible interfacing, okay, on one, but on this other part I did not attach. Can you see this? Here is interfacing. I'm using a collar stay for this. I'm using a collar stay. I fused the collar stay to this particular fabric. So you can use the hard gum stay if you want the heart to be really strong and firm. Okay, for me, I just wanted something simple, not too hard. So I went for a collar stay. So it's now time for us to sew. So here I'll start with this particular fabric. I'll start by joining the band together. Okay, so I'll just fold it this way. Can you see? And then join with 1/2 inch. And here I'm simply done stitching. Okay, so let me remove it so we check out what we have now. I'll also trim off. I'm trimming off the excess. Okay, so that is done. Can you see our band now? Okay, so let's go ahead and join these other parts to the band. Just watch me. So this is how I'll gradually sew round till I'll get to the end. And here I'm simply done. Okay, so I'll cut off the thread, trim nicely so we can see what we are having. And here I'm simply clipping very close to the stitch and ensuring that I'm not cutting through the stitch. Okay, so this is how I'll clip all around. And now I'm done clipping, so let's now flip it over to see the result on the outside. Can you see what we have now? Can you see? So you go over and arrange it very well, align it. Okay, so this is it. It's so beautiful. Let's now go ahead and do the same thing on this other fabric. And here we are done with this fabric also. So what we will do, we'll just open up this and place it like this. Can you see? The wrong side is the side that will face inside as you are putting it inside of this other fabric. So this is how it's going to be. Okay, so if you want to use it on this, if you want to use this part of the fabric, you just flip it over this way. Okay, and this part goes inside naturally. Okay, so just stick around and see the finishing. We are still sewing. We'll now keep this aside and proceed to sewing the brim. With me here is the brim of both fabrics. Can you see? So I'll place them like this, right side facing each other and the wrong side facing outside. So this is how I'll place it, and then I'll go over to the machine and then stitch all around the brim. And now I'm at the end. I'll simply bring it out, trim nicely and also clip nicely before I flip it over. Now I'm simply clipping. Can you see? So this is how I will clip all around the circle. And here I'm also done clipping. Okay, so we'll now flip it over to see what we are having on the right side. And here we are simply done flipping it over. Can you see what we are having? If you watch well, you will notice that it is not yet relaxed. Can you see? So what we'll simply do to make it relax first before we iron is to simply run a top stitch. Okay, so let's go over and do that. Can you see I'm top stitching? So I'm top stitching very close to the edge to have a very neat and beautifully finished top stitch. Okay, so I'm simply stitching. I'll just continue in this space till I go all around the circle. And here we are also done. So let's now remove it from the needle and then check how relaxed it is. Can you see? It is now more relaxed. Okay, to even make it more relaxed, we'll go over to our pressing table and iron it nicely with our hot iron. Now that has also been done, so we'll simply go over and attach both parts. Okay, if you watch well, you notice that I've removed excess allowances from the radius area. Okay, so I'll be attaching the both parts of the art. Just watch me. I'll be attaching it this way. So on this particular fabric, there will be raw edges on this side. Can you see? Okay, so I'll simply be stitching all around. So while stitching this part, you need to be very careful. Okay, you just stitch a little and gradually pull out the fabric. Okay, ensuring that you are aligning both parts nicely and stitching with 1/2 inch. Okay, so I will just stitch carefully till I get to the end. And here I'm simply done stitching. Can you see our beautiful heart? Okay, we now have our hearts ready, but as you can see, there are rough edges here all around. We need to cover up those rough edges. On the other side, there are no rough edges. Okay, so to cover up these rough edges, what we will simply do is to first of all trim off nicely. Now we are done trimming, and also I have prepared this cord. Can you see? Okay, it's very easy to prepare. I just cut out a band of about 3 inches. I folded it and then I got this. So I'll just use it to finish up this part like this. You can decide to gum it with your gum, uhu gum or any fabric gum, but for me I don't want a gum on this work, so I'll just tack it to cover up that raw edges, right? So after tacking it, I will now just tie it to my taste. Okay, I'll just tie it whatever way I want it to appear. So, and that is it. That's how to finish up the raw edges. Okay, our Ankara hat is ready. You can wear it both ways. Have you learned anything from this video? If yes, please like and share the video. Also, kindly drop your comments.